Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today we're group number 6, and as you can see, our topic is classification essay. So as the word says, a classification essay is the one in which you go classifying things into categories. For example, here we have, if your topic is music, it says if you choose to write about types of music, genres, each of your developmental paragraphs will define the characteristics of a different genre. Barney, can you tell me genre of music? Pop music. So you can write this category in one of your paragraphs, and you will say, for example, pop music, and you will give your supporting details related to that topic. And in this way, you go classifying all your ideas into categories. Now we have 3, 4 steps to effective classification. The first one says, sort things into useful categories. When you are writing this type of essay, you have to be sure that the categories you are creating are clear and that they support what you want to say in your essay, because otherwise the writer will not understand your point by writing those categories. Now the second one says, make sure all the categories follow a single organizing principle. You're not going to write a category just because. You have to write categories that go with your topic. As we were talking about music, you have to look for ideas that go and categories that go with that topic and that are well organized in your essay. The third step is give examples that fit into each category. For example, if you are talking in one paragraph about rock music, you're not going to give an example of Justin Bieber song, right? Because it doesn't go with rock music. So you cannot give examples about that because they have to fit in the category you are developing. And the last step is finding categories. It is said that this step is the key to write your essay, because you have to, as I was saying before, you have to make sure that the examples that you're giving on your ideas go with the right category. Otherwise, your reader will not understand the ideas that you organize in your paragraph. Now, Eder is going to.
Okay, good morning everyone. Until this point we have learned what is a classification essay, but the next question is, how am I going to be able to write a classification essay? Okay, it's not so difficult. First, you have to organize your ideas. What do you want to classify? In what categories you want to classify them? And what features are you going to include in these categories? First, we have the thesis statement, right? For this thesis statement, we have a formula. That is, you have first to know what are you going to classify and be clear with the categories. Now you have to mention that there are, because you are going to list the categories and you must start with this one. There are. Next, you insert here the number of types. For example, if we are going to list the favorite sports in El Salvador, you can say there are 3 sports which result in a popular sport in El Salvador. Now that you include the number, you have to put the name. This is a formula. Every thesis statement that goes in a classification essay must start in this way, because here you are listing the number, the type of classification, and the properties or the features that are going to be included in this way. An important tool. You have to determine the categories. Be true. Don't leave out a critical category. For example, let's keep continuing in that example that I gave. If we are listing or classifying the most famous sport in El Salvador, and we have pointed that basketball is one, and the other one is baseball, right? But we are missing the one who is which is the most popular sport in El Salvador. That is, of course, if we are listing something, we have to include the ones that are more important, are more famous, or are most known in the country. Okay, let's try. If we are going to classify those three sports, what is going on in the paragraph? First, we have to put the things that have in common. For example, what does those three sports have in common? Basketball, baseball, and soccer. You play it with balls, right? And you win it with balls, true. Okay, next one. What are something that they have in different? What is something that they don't have in common? For example, in soccer, you play two teams with 11 players each, right? In basketball, 5, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, 5 against 5. In soccer, please come in. In soccer, you play 2 times of 45 minutes each. In basketball, I'm sorry, I really don't know, I just know about soccer. But the point is that you have to list the features that those categories have in common and the difference that they have. That is this one. You may also need to show the similarities and or difference with size. Giving examples, narrating how this is going, telling this is different, this is similar, in order to the reader is going to be able to understand what are you listing, what are you classifying, and the purposes of why are you doing that for that. And next one, you must need the transitional words for the transition, for the smooth transition from an idea to another idea. That's gonna be the job of my partner Victor.
Good morning. We're going to go over something that is really important, that are transitional words. Transitional words are used to move from one idea to another one. They are also used to connect ideas in the paragraph. The common transitional words that are used when classifying are the first kind, the first type, the first group, the second kind, the second type, the second group, the third kind, the third type, and the third group. We use these kind of transitional words because we are making a classification essay, so we need categories to put ideas into. Remember, in classification essay, the writer organizes or sorts things into categories. As I was saying, we need to have categories in order to make the essay like that it has an structure that we have to follow. There are 3 steps to remember when writing an effective classification essay. Organize things into useful categories, use a simple organizing principle, and give examples of things that fit into each category, as I was saying. These 3 steps are applied in the following paragraph. So we have the brainstorming, and we have some ideas. For example, there are many kinds of teachers. Since kindergarten, we have faced many teachers. Every teacher is different. There is always a teacher who only tells jokes. There is always an angry one. Students' behavior, men and women, ages, math class, fun class, and we have the paragraph. Can somebody help me to read?
talkative. It makes the students feel comfortable. On the other hand, a student can also find a teacher who is shouting and frowning most of the time. Students name this one as the angry teacher. This type of tutor is totally different from the one. Another common type of teacher is the funny teacher, who tells funny stories inside the classroom and makes students laugh. The problem with this one is that in a test, the jokes are not included. The students have to be aware that in every classroom they will face a different kind of teacher.
Okay, thank you. And as you can see, we have classified the different kind of teachers into the friendly teacher, who is the one that is talkative, the angry one, and the funny one. So if we provide details about each category, so we can say that the first category is the friendly teacher. So we start supporting that category with details that are suitable for that category. The second one, the angry one, and we do the same. And the third one, it is the same. We provide details for that category. So my question is going to continue. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
After the paragraph, we create the outline. In this order is the introduction and the thesis statement that says students level teachers into different categories as there are millions of teachers around the world, and each of them has their singular way to teach. Then we have the body and the points for the in the body paragraph we have in the body of the essay we have the paragraph. And this is the first one, which the main idea is a friendly teacher acts as a friend of the student. And then we have the sub points that are, this teacher is usually kind. This teacher is usually kind and asks the students how they are. And the next one is this teacher takes a little bit of time from the classroom to cheer up their students. And the last one is a friendly teacher tends to be in a good mood every single class, smiling and talking with a good voice, with a full voice tone without yelling. Then we have in the second paragraph. In the second paragraph, we have the main idea or the topic sentence, that is, there is one teacher that students like to call angry teacher. And then we move to the sub points that are, this is one of the worst nightmare of the students. The one is angry most of the time, and the students feel afraid to ask any question. Then we have with kids, with this kind of tutor, the student is not allowed to ask for going to the bathroom. And the last one is, it affects the student's learning. And the last paragraph says the main idea is, at last, but not less important, there is the funny teacher. And the subcategories, the subpoints are, this teacher spends a lot of time telling funny stories during the class time. The other one is, this teacher is really particular because it's neither angry nor friendly. He or she just tells jokes and expects students to laugh about them. And the last one says, the problem with this one, with this kind of teacher, is that the teacher loads a lot of time in jokes, but the jokes are not included in tests. As we can see here in the outline, we classify the different kind of teachers, as my classmates were saying
in the previous explanation that this kind of essay is to classify in categories, and we have to provide examples of every category, as we saw in the outline. Then here we have the essay, and can somebody help me to read? Okay, Vani, please.
A teacher or an educator is a person who provides education for students. He or she is the one who is in front of the classroom, having responsibility of being in charge of many students' education. However, students label teacher into different categories, as there are millions of teachers around the world, and each of them has their singular way to teach.
Okay, thank you. This is the introductory paragraph, and we are saying here that we are going to talk about categories of different categories of what? Of teachers. So in the following paragraphs, we are going to define every category of the teachers. Vera, can you help me?
The first one of this category is the friendly teacher, who is the favorite one of the student. This educator acts as a friend of support that feels having a good bond between the teacher and the students. These teachers behaves a good mood, speaks with a good tone of voice, and lets the students ask for questions without any ticketing. The students usually look for this student in particular because they feel in a comfortable environment, and the learning process also acquires a high proficiency level thanks to the kindness shown by the friendly teacher.
Thank you. Then we have the second paragraph of the body. Vera, please.
Next, we find a teacher that students call the angry teacher. This one is the worst nightmare of the student, so they try to avoid this teacher as much as they can. The particularity of this educator is that all the time he or she is shouting and frowning. Thereby, students feel afraid of asking questions or asking for permission. To go to the bathroom. The environment with this teacher is not so good. This tutor do not lose time in other things more than the class. This teacher behaves in not a good way for the students. He or she looks like a knob. That is why students call this teacher as the angry teacher.
Thank you. And we have the third part of the body. Becky, please.
Finally, we have a kind of teacher that loses a lot of time telling funny stories about his or her life. This teacher is called the funny teacher because he or she tries to make the students laugh. This one is really particular because it's neither angry nor friendly. He or she just expects the students to laugh or of his or her jokes. The problem with the funny teacher is that the jokes are not included in the test. That is the reason why the grades are not going to be so grateful, because the teacher loses too much time trying to establish himself as a comedy master.
Thank you. And at the end we have the concluding paragraph that says, since kindergarten to university, students will face many kinds of teachers, such as the friendly teachers, the angry teacher, and the funny teacher. As students cannot control who is going to be their teacher, but a student can find a way to enjoy the class time period. A student just has to adapt himself or herself to the type of teacher that he or she faces during the school life. As we can see here in the essay, we define three kinds of teachers. The first one was a friendly teacher, the second one was the angry teacher, and the last one was the funny teacher. We have three ways to classify the teachers, and in every paragraph we define one by one, And also we provide examples or extra information about every kind of teacher, you know. So the classification essay is based on this, to provide categories or categories from a specific topic or a specific thing, and then you have to describe every single thing, providing examples. So this is our explanation about classification essays. And do you have any questions? No? No? No?
No questions?
No. Well, we are going to pass to the practice time. So you're going to work in the paragraph about, we are going to talk about music, as we saw in the previous example. So work.